Okay,
Okay.
so today we are honored to welcome our powerhouse in logistics and leadership, Ekta Kapuria Srivastava. Did I say that right?
Yeah, yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, a
It's
former officer in the Indian Air Force. She brings discipline from the military, strategic finesse in supply chain, and all this is in a brilliant package with over 20 years in experience in logistics, operations, procurement. She's been calm in the chaos of the warehousing floors and executive boardrooms. Currently, she is taking her PMP certification and she works for TG Appliances. So Ekta's story for me is on resilience, cross-cultural collaboration, and sheer operational excellence. So buckle up. This episode is about to take off with insights you won't want to miss. So, Hector, why supply chain and walk us through the start of your career in supply chain?
First of all, thank you, Kelvin. It was a amazing introduction. Obviously, some well researched and pretty big words used by you. So, absolutely appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
Um, and when we talk about journey for supply chain, that's what we're talking about, right?
Yes.
So, journey was supply chain was not planned.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened.
Oh.
So after doing my master's in business management, which is human resources, I still remember going through this one advertisement in the newspapers hiring logistics officers in the Indian Air Force. And I was like, you know what? Maybe try. And when somebody, I still remember very vaguely, when somebody asked me, what do you do in supply chain? I
Mm-hmm.
thought we buy blankets and liquor and give it to the people in the army. That's it. Um, a year and a half later, after going through the Stennis training and all those lingos of logistics,
Yeah.
here I was standing as a flying officer in the logistics stream, not realizing that the journey from blankets and booze was just a starter, and that how things moves from one part of the country to different parts of the world is what
Mm-hmm.
logistics and supply chain is. So for me, it was just an accident
Yeah.
um, that I love from the core of my heart. And I really don't think at this point I could have done anything but supply chain. So that's a little bit about the journey.
Oh, well, I think the accident brought us to a good place
Absolutely.
currently. So, can you walk us through a typical day in your current position?
All right. So currently, I am the warehouse manager for TG Appliances. Typical day for the warehouse starts at about 5 a.m.
Uh,
and finishes at 1:30 a.m. the next day. So the warehouse has two shifts. Uh, my job is more flexible. So sometimes I'm supporting the day shift and sometimes I'm supporting the afternoon shift. So I kind of have flexibility. My main roles include, meeting up with the team in the morning. I'm very passionate about health and safety, which starts with having my people come and do a little bit of warm up in the morning. So, I'll have my people come do a warm up. We'll discuss some policies and procedures. And then it's mostly about taking a round of the warehouse. I believe that if your people can't see you as a leader, they won't respect you as a leader. So I'm a very visible leader where I see what my people are doing. I interact with them, I talk to them if they have any issues. That also lets me see about how productive the shift is. A big part of my current role, is capacity utilization, which means creating more space in the warehouse. And well, whatever space we have, we need to do it, but there's no magic in it.
Yeah.
But we still need to optimize our inventory. We need to see what is discontinued stuff, what we need to do about it. Um, this is followed mostly by having conversations with the supply and demand team. Hey, what did you get offers on? What did you getting us? What is not coming to us? This is typically followed by talking to the transportation department in case they have any return coming back because the customer wasn't home or the product reached damage.
Yeah.
Second part also comes in is checking where the damages happen because for any organization, product coming back because of damages is actually not the right thing to do, right? So
Yeah.
looking at damages, finishing up the day shift after receiving everything, ensuring everything is put away, and then prepping for the evening shift to come in to see what is to be picked for our most valued customers so that they can get our product. And for people who do not know what TJ Appliances is, we are a very, very high-end appliance company, um,
Okay.
sailing between number one and two
Mm-hmm.
most of the times. And we have some great products there, big, odd, even products. Yeah, that's like most of my day. And my day can end at 5 o'clock, but sometimes if there are issues in the warehouse where I need to be, I'm available till almost 12 or 1 at night to support my team. So ideally, my day looks like that.
Give me 1 second. My charger just disconnected.
Okay, no problem.
Okay. So
Okay.
what uh would you describe as the most challenge that you often face, and how do you overcome these challenges?
I think the most challenging part in any organization, whether it's supply chain or any other thing, is mostly people.
Mhm.
People are challenging, and not because they are difficult, but it's the way people adapt to changes. So, people, if any supervisor or manager are able to manage their people well,
Mhm.
life is smooth sailing. But
Yeah.
on the other hand, if we are not able to manage our people, it could be various reasons, then that's a bigger problem. So I think anybody who's, excuse me, looking at the journey of being a manager, supervisor, I always tell people to have empathy
Yeah.
and the ability to listen to their people and, change their leadership style from empathetic, sympathetic to a straight leader. Yeah, we need to be more empathetic to our people. So they're most challenging.
Would you say your time in the Air Force helped you like better have a better grasp of when to anticipate the kind of challenges or bottlenecks that can appear in the supply chain?
I would say yes, because I don't know if you know, but actually, logistics and supply chain started from the military,
Mhm.
way in the time when wars were happening. Um, they are the people who called it logistics and supply chain, right? Um, I have been lucky enough to learn it from the raw people who do it.
Uh-huh.
So of course, yes. And in the corporate, we work with a retail organization, or we work with an automotive organization, or we work with maybe medicine. In the military, you have to deal with everything at one place.
Yeah.
So it lets you understand how you need to react in what situation.
Mhm.
It also lets you react in case of emergencies, like if there is a war. It also lets you be an empathetic leader because if there are contingencies, how do you provide empathetic leadership to your people
Mhm.
along with doing your job the right way? So,
Yeah.
of course, all credits to the Indian Air Force.
Okay. In your long career in supply chain, did you at any point in time experience the bullwhip effect?
Sorry, could you repeat your question again?
In your long career in supply chain, could
Mm-hmm.
have you at any point in time experienced the bullwhip effect?
What is the bull beep effect?
Like a small flake on one side, let's say a small bottleneck on one side
Yeah,
causes a huge ripple in the entire supply chain distribution thing.
I learned a good word from you, Calvin. I got some knowledge. Yes, 100%. I
Mhm,
think during COVID, we all saw the bullwhip effect because when COVID hit, I was working with Lululemon at that point of time,
mhm.
and our products basically are coming from Vietnam, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh,
Yeah.
maybe Pakistan. And when the canals started getting closed, we could see the effect that um, as much as people were home, everybody became a yogi where everybody wanted to do yoga at home.
Mhm.
So our sales went up, but our supplies were down. So we had
Ah,
to find better ways and means, which was instead of shipping, we had to rely on airfare, which is way more expensive.
yeah.
And I think that happens even today now with the tariffs going in. Currently, with my current organization, because everybody was anticipating the tariffs coming in,
Yeah.
we bought in a lot of product at good discounted price, but we do
Mhm,
not know when the sales would happen. So, in anticipation, the buying has happened, reducing my
mhm.
capacity at work. So, yeah.
Okay. Um, in your current role, how is your company approaching sustainability or ethical sourcing?
I would say they are doing a great job
Mhm,
because, just to give you an example, any of our trucks that are going to customers' houses,
mhm.
not only do we get the packing material back,
Yeah.
which means the cardboard, the styrofoam, the plastic, any wrapping that is there with the appliance, it comes back to the distribution center.
Mhm,
But we also help customers give away their scrap to us. Now, what do we do with the scrap? The company has arrangements with some sustainable companies where we segregate the cardboards, the styrofoam, and the plastic,
mhm.
and we recycle them in a manner that is acceptable and reusable.
Yeah.
So we have like a styrofoam machine, which actually, if you put styrofoams into it, it gets raw styrofoam in the form of bricks. And those bricks are given to the sustainable company for reuse, maybe making new styrofoams or, in houses. That's
Yeah.
one. With the scrap that we get from the customer's home, which would probably, if we don't get it, land up in the side of the houses, we
Mhm.
have arrangements with scrap companies who take away the product and try and use materials, parts from it to repair the product. And then there's something that is not repairable, it goes
Mhm.
into ethical landfills where they are really recycled in the most appropriate manner.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
Coming to sourcing, of course, the supply team has, the um, agree with the Paris Agreement, where while selecting buyers and vendors, they are looking at people who are sustainable, who are making products in a more ethical way, where manpower is used properly, where people are not um, working in human factories, if we can call them.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've been doing a great job. They're a family-owned company. They've been doing a great job since the last many, many years.
Okay. Okay. So how you've touched on the styrofoam thing, but how has technology in itself uh, change your work in supply chain?
Kelvin, when I started in the Indian Air Force, this is 21 years back, we used to get our challans in 5-page copies, like 5 copies with
Mm,
carbon copies written on it. Pink would go to accounting, for green would go somewhere, blue would go somewhere, white would go somewhere, which meant there was a lot of paper being used, which
yeah.
meant there was a lot of filing that was being done, which also meant that people had to be employed to get those jobs done. And during my tenure in the Air Force, we actually started seeing technology coming in where it was easier from an Air Force perspective for us to see what inventory is kept in another part of the country that could be used from one station to the other. Um, Reportings have become better. We've be talking in some classes about Power BI, apps like Power BI, Asana, and everything, where people in projects are working across the globe and they can still share their work. Power BI, my manager could be sitting in Europe on a holiday, but if he wants to see how the productivity is happening, he can see that. Coming to the stars of the business, I always call them stars of the business, is the warehouse associates, because if they don't do the job, the big guys do not make the money. Earlier, maybe they were jumping on products and trying to figure what it is. Now they have scanner guns, which can let them see where the product is and everything. So, technology is creating a great part. In the current organization, we also use something called Pi, which we are using to route our trucks in a more appropriate manner, which saves gas, manpower, and time, put all of these to the company. So it's great to learn technology and keep us updated about it.
Okay, so you've worked with cross-functional teams. So
Yes.
just how important is collaboration with other departments and external partners to the success of a supply chain in a supply chain role?
I think it's very important to be collaborative with each and every department. Um, the reason I say that is, what is the goal of sales? Is sales happening? Or what is marketing? Marketing in the market, right? Lots of marketing there, though. Um, are we able to pace with that? Are we collaborating with our procurement, buying, supply department and seeing what are they buying? What are we able to stock? So marketing team gets the market trends. And when they get the market trends is when the supply and demand team get the product. And that's when we warehouse the product. That is across any product that you have in the market, right?
Yeah.
Similarly, a lot of teams get missed out on, but I like to collaborate with them, is accounting team. What are their financial figures for each quarter? What are we high? Are we low? Me talking to them lets me understand, are we above budget or we under budget? Similarly, me talking to the HR department, people think of HR only as people. I go a little ahead and talk to HR department, say how many man hours are allowed to are allocated to my warehouse. Am I above them or am I under
Yeah.
them? Am I doing a lot of overtime or I'm not doing overtime? It helps me plan and it helps me make money for the warehouse. Transportation department. Outside vendors are equally important. We are buying supplies for the warehouse. How are we dealing with the supplies of the warehouse? Whether I'm buying Uline or I'm trying to buy from a vendor who's cheaper,
Yeah.
or I'm trying to buy from a vendor who's a more ethical source um, for the whole world as such. So collaboration is important because the ultimate aim of a business is to make profit. And if we work in silos, we don't make profit. We make profit when we all work together.
Yeah. So, what would you advise someone getting into supply chain as they try to discover their journey in this career path? What advice would you offer?
For me, I think the biggest advice is love it.
Mm,
It can be difficult at times.
yeah,
And more important, just don't tell yourself, I am going to be in just one department. You just asked me a question, why collaboration is important.
yeah,
Um, in my many years of working, especially the
mhm,
last 11 years in Canada,
yeah,
I've come across a lot of people working in warehousing who only want to become a team lead, supervisor, ops manager. I tell people to explore more areas of supply chain.
yeah,
I don't know how many of you know, but forecasting, inventory,
hmm,
transportation, analytics. The new trend in the market is analytics. Um, Try and explore each area and
hmm,
then find your passion. And I don't think it's practically feasible for anybody in supply chain to work in all the departments. So, go with an open mind.
yeah,
Um, think that you're a learner. A lot of people look at things and say, I want to change it. Yeah, make the
mhm,
change, but
yeah,
make the change when you are ready to make the change, not look at day one and say, this is wrong.
yeah,
Give, there's always a reason a company is doing something.
mhm,
Um, Ask for more work. Um, I think I'd shared with you earlier also. My dream is, if at all I retire, which I have no plans,
mhm,
leaving supply chain in the hands of exceptionally passionate people who can build it better and take pride in it.
ah, good. So basically, find your niche and
Yes.
hone in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So supply chain and the world, everything is moving quite fast. What what trends do you see will shape supply chain going forward?
I would say
Hmm.
a lot of automation in every way, whether it is automation through new ERPs coming in the market or automation of every process, which means, from my perspective, it's picking and packing needs to be automated. It needs to be speedier. We need to work on KPIs. I do remember in my time in Lululemon, we got a sorter. So in the ancient age, people were sorting. Now sorting is happening quickly. A lot of AI coming in to make life efficient. Um, Best utilization of space is also important. So, you know how automation can create more space
Yeah.
by creating mezzanines. And I have worked in another place where um, smaller products are actually put in mezzanines with robots to move the product. So you can do that as well. So automation, 100% is where the future is. For anybody trying to jump in supply chain, be ready for a change, if not too much, at least once a year.
Okay, so we are coming towards the tail end of the podcast.
Absolutely.
You have the chance in your hands to change something in supply chain in one snap or flick. What will you change?
Oh, I have a lot, but I think you touched on a very good question, collaboration.
Hmm.
If I can change something, is a real collaboration between all departments
Yeah.
where everybody understands each other's pain
Hmm.
and strengths together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see where all departments at least once a quarter get together, talk about it. Yeah.
Okay. So there you have it, guys. It's an incredible journey and a wealth of insights from Ekta. So from soaring in the Indian skies with the Air Force to navigating this complex ground, I think this journey is proof of discipline, adaptability, and a growth mindset, uh, which I admire because it keeps you curious and you want to move about the gears, turning the supply chain wheel. So that's today's episode. Don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe because it's not about just the pitch, it's about the people and the processes behind the greatness and their success. So until next time, see you soon.
Thank you,
Bye.
Kelvin. Bye
Thank
bye.
you so much.
Thank you.